Hello children, how are you all? I hope everyone are fine. So today I am going to start that is for English grammar, a new lesson, that is the phrase in the clause. Phrase in the clause. In the previous that is the previous lesson we learned about the second lesson. What was the second lesson? Sentences. So we learned about sentences and the types of sentences also. So today we are going to learn about the phrase and the clause. So what is the phrase? So almost you know everyone, the phrase is an incomplete which does not make you sense. A phrase is an incomplete word with that which does not make sense. It does not give you the complete meaning. It does not give you the complete meaning. For example, when we are writing the sentence, we know a sentence always starts with a capital letter and ends with the full stop. But in the phrase, here the sentence will not start with the capital letter or the any meaningful word, and you can see some sentences also will not end with the full stop also. So certainly you will not have meaning at all in that sentence. You cannot tell it is a complete sentence because it does not have a complete meaning. So what is a phrase I told you? A phrase is a group of words. Move on to page number 14. That is the phrase and the clause. So a phrase is a group of words that makes sense. But not a complete sense because it does not have a subject or predicate. Subject or verb, that is subject or predicate. So in that sentence you will not be having subject or verb because why? It will not be a complete sentence. I mean, if you have subject, the verb will be not there. If you have verb, the subject will be not there. So it is known as the incomplete sentence. Behind the curtain, for example. So when I give the example, so this is for phrase behind the curtain. Behind the curtain. Curtain. So here, curtain. So what do you understand? So I told you it never starts with the capital letter, or you don't have any full stop also here. So when it is a complete sentence, when it is a meaningful sentence, it starts with the what? Capital letter and with the full stop. So here behind the curtain. So what do you understand? You are not able to understand this line because it is an incomplete sentence. It is an incomplete sentence, so it is known as phrase. So incomplete sentence are always known as phrase. What? Phrase. Understood children? Don't get confused because why? It is not a complete sentence because you don't have proper subject and proper verb. You don't have proper subject. So your subject is what? Written curtain. So you don't have what? Behind. Which is the behind? What is the behind? So you don't have any other, that is the verb there. So you don't have any verb there. So it is an incomplete sentence. So it is known as a phrase. It is known as a phrase. So next one of the example, another one more, made of gold. Made of gold. So here gold. So what is it? So I told you it is not starting with the capital letter or it is not ending with the full stop also, and it is not a meaningful sentence also. So here made of gold. What is made of gold? So it is an incomplete sentence. So you don't have proper subject or proper verb in it. So it is a phrase. So it is a phrase. So I told you there is no proper subject or proper verb, that is predicate. So it is known as a incomplete sentence and also it is known as a phrase. Okay children? So all the groups of words that some sense of meaning but not the full meaning, thus we call them phrase. We can make them meaningful by adding subject and the verb. So I told you, for example, so here, if you want to make it a complete sentence, how will you write? So you have to write a complete meaningful sentence. So you are going to write, she stood. She stood behind. She stood behind the curtain. So you have both the subject and the verb here. So you have both the subject and the verb. Next, this. So made of gold. This chain is made of gold. This chain is made of gold. So it is a meaningful sentence though because we have both the subject and verb there. So it is known as what? It is known as a meaningful sentence. But now we are studying about the phrases. So the phrase doesn't have any complete meaning. Understood children? So I have completed with the phrase. Next you have the clause. What is a clause? So in the clause, so it is also a group of words which with the subject and the verb. So in the clause you will be having both subject and the verb and is usually part of a sentence and it will be a part of the sentence. It may or may not make boy is going to the market. So which is the clause here for you? So which is the clause? The boy is going for the market. So the boy is going for the market. So boy, so you can write, so this is boy is going is a clause. Boy is going is a clause. Okay children, so here, so now it is a meaningful. So I told you it may have a meaningful sentence or it may not have a meaningful sentence. That is a clause, but you have to understand while you read the sentence. You have to understand when you read the lesson. So here the boy is going is a clause since it has a subject. The boy has a predicate is going. So is going what? Is going is what? It is a verb. So it is now what? A clause. That is a clause. Understood children? So next you have the kinds of clauses. So you have main clause and subordinate clause. So here we studied phrase and clause. That is clause. Now next we have kinds of clauses. There are two types of clauses, that is main clause and subordinate clause. Main clause is also known as principal clause or independent clause. Principal clause or independent clause. Subordinate clause is also known as dependent clause. So another name for main clause is principal clause and independent clause. And subordinate clause has another name, that is dependent clause. So here, if clause gives complete or full meaning, we call it main clause. So that is the main clause. How you can know that it is a main clause? So here, if the clause give you complete or full meaning in the sentence, if you are writing, when you are writing the sentence, when it gives you complete sentence, when you are able to understand that sentence, it is known as what? Main clause. That is what? Independent clause. Independent clause. When you have incomplete sentence, when it is incomplete sentence, so here what are subordinate clause? If the clause does not give you full meaning or full expression, we call it subordinate clause. For example here, so kind of clause. So what is the example here? When the president arrived, we burst the crackers. So here, when the president, so when the president arrived, so here arrived, we burst crackers. We burst crackers. So here, so when the president arrived, it is the what? Is what here? This is the subordinate clause. The main clause is we burst the crackers. This is the main clause. In almost, if you see in the kinds of clause, the first will come the subordinate clause and next will be your main clause. Understood children? So here, so we burst crackers. So we burst express a full and independent meaning. So we burst crackers. So we burst crackers, you can understand, and it is a complete meaning. You can understand and you have a complete meaning in it. So we burst crackers are main clause. It is a main clause. So here full independent meaning. Also the word we is a subject. So here we is a subject. So I told you in every sentence it should be subject and the predicate, that is the verb. If both are not there, if one is there also it will be a clause. If one is there, so I will show you first only when I showed you the curtain. So here I put behind the curtain. Curtain is a subject there, but you did not have the verb. You did not have the verb. But in the main clause, when you have both, that is subject and predicate, it is known as main clause or independent clause. When you in the subordinate clause, if you don't have subject, if you have the verb, so it is known as subordinate clause, because both subject and verb are not in the subordinate clause. So here, we is the subject. We is the subject. Burst. So we is the subject here, and burst is the what? Verb for you. So you have both subject and verb in this sentence. That is when the president arrived, we burst crackers. So we have both subject and verb. We have both subject and verb in one single sentence. So it is known as what? It is known as what? Main clause. It is known as main clause or independent clause or principal clause. Understood children? Where you have both subject and verb in a sentence, it is known as main clause. So main clause. Understood? Next. So that is subordinate clause. Subordinate clause I told you. It will not have both subject or predicate. If subject is there, verb will not be there. If the verb is there, the subject will not be there. So it is an incomplete sentence. So that is known as subordinate clause or dependent clause. Dependent clause. So here subordinate clause or dependent clause. If the clause does not give a full meaning or complete expression, we call it subordinate clause. So subordinate means dependent. It is dependent. The subject is depending on the verb. So I told you the subject is depending on the verb. If the subject is there and the verb is not there, then it will become a subordinate clause. Hence, a subordinate clause expresses a meaning depending on the main clause. On the main clause, I told you that is the verb. The main clause is removed. A subordinate clause will not express well. If the main clause is only not there, if you have only subordinate clause, it will not be a complete meaningful sentence. So it is known as what? Subordinate clause. So what I told you, if you don't have what main clause, if you don't have main clause only, that is subject and verb. That is subject and verb. If you don't have, then it will become what? A subordinate clause. Understood, children? So I told you the first. I will be explaining that example only. The president arrived. We burst the clauses. So which is the main clause and subordinate clause in that sentence? We burst crackers. We burst crackers is the what? Main clause. Is the main clause. So I told you we is the subject and burst is the what is the burst? Burst is verb. Burst is verb there. So it is what? Main clause. When the president arrived. When the president arrived, it is that is subordinate clause because it is not a complete sentence. In that sentence you don't have the subject and verb. So I will write once again. When the president. So when the president. Do you have subject or verb in this? No, we don't have subject or verb in this. So it is known as subject is. So subject is there. You can get president is a subject, but you don't have the verb there. When the president is subject, so you don't have verb. So it is known as what? Subordinate clause. But in the next sentence, in the same continuation sentence, we had the we burst crackers. We burst crackers. So this is the same sentence. So you have to come up full stop. Starting with the capital letters. So when the president, we burst the crackers. So in the that is in the next part of the sentence. That is in the two, so you have divided. This is the one part of the sentence and this is one part of the sentence here. So here it is a complete one sentence. So here we burst crackers. So we told we is a subject. We are talking about what? President. So we is the subject and burst is the crackers. So this is the verb. Burst is the verb. That is the action word. Verb means action word. So here in the first part of the sentence we don't have. We have only the subject here. We don't have the verb here. So it is known as what? Subordinate clause. This is what? Subordinate clause. So here subordinate clause. This is the main clause. Main clause means both we are having subject and verb, and it is a full complete sentence. But this part is what? Main clause. Understood, children? The first part is what? Subordinate clause, but because we are having only subject, we don't have the verb here. Understood, children? If you have any doubts, you can ask me. So today we learned about the phrase, clause, and types of, that is kinds of clauses. That is phrase, I told you, phrase is a group of word, but it does not have a complete meaning. Here clause, a group of word with a subject and a verb. It will have in the sentence, you will have both subject and, how I showed you the example here, we will have subject and verb both. It may be meaningful or it may not be meaningful. When you read the sentence, you should know if the both subject and verb are there, it is a what? Clause. It is a clause. Understood? If it is not, there are certain things you have to understood and write whether it is a clause or the phrase. Next, kinds of clauses we learned about main clause and subordinate clause also. Okay, children, understood? So next, that is the exercises, page number 15. So write P for phrase or C for the clauses. So here, one or two I will be doing for you, and the others you have to complete by yourself. First one, long and short. Long and short. So here, so you don't have complete meaning in this. Long and short, you are not able to understand because it is an incomplete sentence. So it is what? It is a phrase. So you write P for P, that is phrase. Next, they moved to Mumbai. They moved to Mumbai. They moved to Mumbai. So they is what? Subject. They is subject. Moved is what? Verb moved is what? Verb. So this is the clause. So this is the clause. So we have some meaningful sentence. They moved to Mumbai. They moved to Mumbai. So here they is subject, moved is verb. So that is clause. Next. After that is second one, as flat as a pancake. As flat as a pancake. So it is not a full sentence, it is a phrase. Okay, next, find out the phrase in the following sentence. I was waiting at the railway station. I was waiting at the railway station. At the railway station is the phrase. So in the sentence you have to tell which is the only phrase, not the clause. The first one is, that is B. First one, at the railway station, underline. Next, my teacher praised me for my success. For my success. For my success is a phrase. If I tell you only for my phrase, it will not be able to understand. So for my success you have to understand. Underline. Next, that is C main. Underline the main clause and circle the subordinate clause in this sentence. So I told you, when it is when you are writing both, that is main clause and subordinate clause in each sentence, when you are dividing, first you should most of the sentence where the first sentence will be what? First sentence will be almost subordinate clause. First sentence will be subordinate clause and the second will be the main clause. Most of the sentence. But when you read, you will be able to understand. Okay, I told you, if the main clause is there, both you should have what? Subject and verb. Here is subject, that is in subordinate clause. It will be an incomplete sentence because if the verb is there, subject will not be there. If the subject is there, verb will be not be there. The first one I will do for you, that is Rita. If Rita comes, we will have a celebration. We will have a celebration. So here, first one, if Rita comes, we will have a celebration. So here, so go for the second sentence, that is B is what? Subject. B is what? Subject. So celebration. You have celebration. Celebration is the verb here. So this is what? Main clause. This is what? Main clause. This is main clause. And the first part, if Rita comes, so it is an incomplete. So it is what? Subordinate. Subordinate clause. Subordinate clause. Understood, children? So all this you have to divide the same way. That is, you have to underline what? Main clause and circle the subordinate clause. So you have to circle this, circle the subordinate clause and underline the main clause. Understood? Second one, though he tried his best, he lost the game. So here, first, that is he lost the game is subordinate. That is a main clause. Which is the subordinate clause? Though he tried his best. Okay, children. Next, that is the last main D. Fill in the blanks with suitable clause you have to write. Suitable, that is clause. It